Hey guys, Nuzly here, and today back from our YouTube video, and now, you might be seeing the title and thumbnail and wondering, Nuzly, what the fuck are you doing? What is this video? But essentially, when it comes to a lot of joke versus matchups on the internet, people tend to put YouTubers or YouTube-created characters in the, debates to make them funny. And I was rewatching the Bearus versus KSI trilogy, and I realized that there were actually a fair amount of pretty impressive feats shown in it. So I figured I would make this video talking about how powerful KSI and Bearus were, if you were to use them like in any joke versus matchups to show how powerful they would be. Now, KSI does have like literally thousands of videos, so I'm just gonna ignore them because I want to upload this video within the next few years. And while that means that I might miss out some things about them, I will include some things at the end of this video which could contribute to his like abilities roster and things like that. So we're just going to go through the KSI vs Bearus 1, 2, and 3 videos to explain the abilities that both characters have and the feats that they show within the the series. So if you're going to enjoy this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and let's just get into it. Right off the bat, we know that KSI has some level of, reality warping, as his official height in this series is 6 foot, when he's very clearly not 6 foot. But regardless, the first feat shown is, he throws Bearus into the ground so hard it makes a short crater, which is not that impressive if you consider what boxing rings are made out of, but the next feat right afterwards is very impressive, as KSI was capable of jumping from Earth to far outer space in the space of 3 seconds. To do that, KSI must have been moving at over 200 million miles per hour, or almost half the speed of light, and he even survives to fall back down. In order to do that, KSI's durability must be equal to 0.022 tons of TNT, basically meaning that KSI would be able to survive small buildings exploding on him. However, the next feat is definitely the most impressive one we'll have in a while. He was capable of pushing Bearus through half of the Earth twice. To split the entire Earth in half, you need power around 2.42 zettatons of TNT, or just enough power to destroy small planets. You can make the argument that KSI and Bearus are just, going through it and not really exactly cutting through it, but not only would that really not make much sense, but even if you were to half the feat, it would still be a small planet level feat to, accomplish that, especially when you consider that KSI piles drive, Bearus up here, and then when you cut to them going through the Earth, we just see them starting out with the core. Of course, KSI and Bearus are not at the core, which implies that they went through the rest of the Earth to get to said core. Basically meaning that KSI and Bearus are capable of destroying small planets, at least. Of course, if you think this is like a gag feat or something, or shouldn't be used, then you can take small building level, but I think it makes more sense for them to be small planet level here. And he's of course also survived being in the middle of the Earth with Bearus as well, basically meaning that they have some level of heat resistance as well. Also, in order for KSI and Bearus to fly through the Earth as fast as they did, they must have been moving at around 5.7 million miles per hour. Again, that's sub-relativistic to the speed of light. Another ability that KSI has is shown here is the ability to jump very, very high, but of course we already kind of knew that. He then sends Bearus through 13 walls before then being hit by a car. The car impact alone is equal to 31,000 joules, which basically means that Bearus is tanking attacks that would bare minimum be able to destroy walls, which does make sense considering he's survived being sent through 13 of them. Although granted, he probably does have small planet level durability, as we said earlier. Bearus's only really feats here in this video is tanking all of KSI's attacks, and he shows some level of healing regeneration factor, as despite having cuts and bruises all over him, he's able to get back up and keep on fighting. Either that or it's just some insane pain tolerance. Bearus is capable of summoning other versions of himself to fight, who run from the other side of the world in 9 seconds. If you presume that they're literally like at the other side of the world and not like running the full circumference of it, they'd be moving at around 4.9 million miles per hour, or around 0.007 times the speed of light. You may think this, doesn't really work, as, we don't really know how far away specifically the Bearuses were, but even if you were to accept this, it wouldn't be too inconsistent given the KSI jumping feat we saw earlier. Bearus then transforms into a real-life bear, and also KSI fights off 11 Bearuses at once, implying KSI is far above Bearus at this point. However, when Bearus transforms into a bear, KSI is defeated in an explosion equal to around 900,000 joules, or 0.22 tons of TNT. That's just the explosion radius, though, of course. He could just be much stronger going by the small planet level feats. However, if you don't think the small planet level feat for KSI Bearus works, then small building level isn't too inconsistent. Going into episode 2, we have another feat of KSI kicking Bearus so hard he's sent to the other side of the world in 2 seconds. Again, presuming it's like half the circumference of the Earth, he'd be moving at over 22 million miles per hour, or 0.03 times the speed of light. This kind of falls under the whole Bearus getting other versions of himself on the other side of the world to fight too, as, you don't really know the distance he was kicked from, but even then it wouldn't be inconsistent. KSI fights alongside Theodore III and Babatunde, and is implied to be stronger than Theodore III and Babatunde. Bearus is also shown capable of casually busting through walls, and when he puts on the Bearus chain, lightning effects occur, either giving him some level of electricity manipulation or ability to manipulate the weather. If you don't think this lightning is actually really there though, because the surroundings aren't affected by the lightning, this would give Bearus some level of perception manipulation instead. He's also capable of knocking KSI off guard through a wall, implying that, again, if you have KSI at small building level, Bearus is at bare minimum wall level, at least. Bearus also shows the ability to either teleport or just move very, very quickly, as it makes like the teleportation sound you get in Dragon Ball, but it could just be implied to be speed, as we see in the 3rd episode. So Theodore III could create explosions equal to around 100 million joules. We only really have like Bearus's height to scale these explosions, but it's still pretty impressive, as that is also a small building level feat. And he could also create force fields with his words and turn them into attacks as well. And yet, despite this, Bearus literally one-shots Theodore III, even with his shield up, implying that Bearus is far above Sir Theodore III, and he also one-shots Babatunde as well, which, I mean, is a feat in and of itself. Bearus also displays the ability to Naruto run. There's no joke here or anything, that he can just do that. He also easily defeats KSI in base, implying that he got much stronger from the first episode, seeing that in the first episode he could barely do anything to KSI. However, you could argue that KSI is holding back here, since when Bearus gets the Bearus chain and grows to 12 times the size that he was before, due to scaling to KSI, KSI still just destroys him, as KSI displays some kind of super punch which one-shots Bearus. If you imply that, Bearus becoming 12 times the size makes him 12 times more powerful, he would be able to output around 29.04 zettatons of TNT. Again, that is still just being able to destroy small planets, but it's still pretty impressive. If you think that Bearus is only small building level, then this amplification would make him equal to output 2.64 tons of TNT, or able to destroy moderately sized buildings with a single attack. And KSI, despite this, is able to beat him, implying again that KSI, when he gets serious, just in base, is far above Bearus. Going into the finale, right, and we have a really, really important discrepancy here, because if we take this, it completely changes how powerful they actually are, as the fight very clearly takes place in the Tournament of Power Arena. This is important because in Dragon Ball, the Tournament of Power Arena is made up of Kachikachi, which was stated to be more durable than regular Kachin, which was stated the most durable thing in the universe, implying that it's more durable than neutron stars at least, which means that KSI and Bearus sending each other through the Kachikachi would mean that they would need more power needed to destroy large stars, which means that bare minimum KSI and Bearus would be classed at large star level, possibly even being able to destroy small solar systems. And of course, the World of Void itself is pretty, because it would be an impressive statement or feat if either of them do anything to it, but we'll get to that. Basically, the highest amount of energy required to destroy large stars is equal to 22.77 foe, which basically means that KSI and Bearus are, again, bare minimum destroying large stars, and more than likely are destroying solar systems. KSI is able to take attacks from base Bearus. I mean, I think, that's pretty obvious considering what we've seen so far. Then we see, again, another discrepancy, but this time it's not... it's not really got that much evidence surrounding it, if that makes sense, as both characters in KSI and Bearus use energy attacks to fight. If you imply that they are laser beams, then KSI and Bearus are capable of moving around at literally the speed of light. However, you could very well make the argument that it is just ki, seeing that KSI was capable of performing the Kamehameha, and later on, Bearus was shown capable of replicating the Spirit Bomb, both ki-based abilities. So if you don't think they're lasers, then KSI and Bearus would still just be relativistic to the speed of light. But if you do think so, then KSI and Bearus are capable of literally moving at light speed. KSI also displays the ability to fly, and so does Bearus. Bearus also easily attacks from KSI. KSI is implied to be above base Bearus here, above, of course, they are still relative, if that makes any sort of sense. Bearus also takes more large explosions to the face, and KSI is also shown displaying more energy blasts, and can seemingly teleport, although considering how he calls Bearus slow later on, it could just be pure speed. KSI also outruns explosions, which move at around 23,000 miles per hour. So if for some reason you don't think KSI and Bearus are at light speed, they are bare minimum moving at around 23,000 miles per hour. KSI can also use a Kamehameha, which is actually a pretty important thing here, since in the Raditz fight, we see Goku's power level dramatically raise once he uses the Kamehameha. In fact, it raises 1.62 times approximately, basically meaning that we can multiply the 22.77 foe calc and multiply it by 1.26 62 times to basically get base KSI's full power with the Kamehameha being equal to around 36.96 foe, which again, that is at least enough power to destroy solar systems. Then Bearus powers up. We don't really know how powerful this makes Bearus, but it does seem a bit like Beerus from Dragon Ball. Again, there's not much evidence surrounding it, but I mean, if you think that, Beerus is equal to big actual Beerus, then I mean, go all in, it doesn't really change much. When Bearus is powering up, though, they cause small rocks around them to levitate, which even, it could imply that Bearus has some level of telekinesis, or the air around them is just swirling up and, is causing the rocks around them to levitate. And after this, KSI then takes a beatdown from amped Bearus, implying that Bearus, when powered up, is far beyond any other version of KSI and Bearus shown previously. Bearus is also shown capable of levitating off the ground and creating fire-like explosions, and is capable of catching KSI off guard with them. He takes the Kamehameha without even flinching, which basically means that if you have a character that can destroy small solar systems and fire it at Bearus when he's transformed, it wouldn't even make him budge. At this point, he's easily able to defeat base KSI, and KSI then powers up like a Super Saiyan. And given, the parallels between the Super Saiyan transformation and Namek and, KSI's, Super Saiyan transformation, it could be very easily implied that they are around equal in terms of power, in terms of a multiplier, as if KSI really was going Super Saiyan. Now, Again, if you don't think KSI is literally going Super Saiyan, then that's fine. You can just omit this part from the video. The Super Saiyan multiplier should multiply all stats up to 50 times, which basically means that KSI's amount of power that he can output should be around equal to 1.14 kilofoe, and with the Super Saiyan up to 1.85 kilofoe. Again, it's more just in the solar system range. And as when it comes to speed, even if you don't think that KSI and Bearus are capable of, moving at light speed, they should still be faster than light due to how much the multiplier increases their already relativistic speed. And then, KSI and Bearus fight, and while at first they seemed a little bit on par, it was soon proven that KSI was much more powerful, keeping in mind as well that the Super Saiyan transformation is a ray jump as well, so as KSI gets more angry, he gets more powerful. And he is also capable of causing or creating after images when he fights, calling Bearus way too slow. Bearus then displays the ability to clone himself, and quite interestingly, this could be the original ability from the first episode, but regardless, KSI then takes 4 energy blasts from Bearus, just completely laughing it off. Then Bearus creates the Spirit Bomb, which actually catches KSI off guard by its power. The Spirit Bomb was able to do much more to, Namek Saga Frieza than Kaioken times 20 did, implying that the Spirit Bomb is more powerful than a 20 times increase. Considering how it catches KSI off guard, and it does, significant damage to him, but he still tanks it, it would be consistent with the Super Saiyan multipliers, as, 20 times is lower than 50 times. And of course, when KSI tanks the Spirit Bomb, he then gets serious and one-shots Bearus with a Suck Your Mum attack, which is basically just the final flash, realistically. And it moves so quickly that Bearus can't even react, meaning that the final flash, the Suck Your Mum attack, is moving so fast that even someone who's faster than light can't even perceive it. And also, after the Suck Your Mum attack, the entire world of Void is seemingly altered and looks completely different. This is insane because the world of Void was stated to be an infinitely sized void with no time or space. If you, basically say that, the world of Void in Dragon Ball Super is the same as it is in this continuity, then KSI would be able to destroy universes and possibly be classed as low multiversal. So, how strong is KSI? If you take the building level scaling for KSI and then apply the Super Saiyan multiplier on top of it, KSI would basically be able to destroy multiple city blocks in a single attack. This is heavily lowballing, by the way. If you take KSI at small planet level and apply the Super Saiyan multiplier to that, he'd be able to destroy about regularly sized planets, and would be high end of regular planet level with the Kamehameha. And if you take large star level scaling for KSI, then of course he'd be able to destroy solar systems, and he could possibly destroy universes depending on how you interpret the world of Void feat. And if you think that KSI is universal with the Super Saiyan multiplier, then of course he would be able to destroy multiple galaxies in his base form. Bearus, on the other hand, is basically just the same, but scales lower than all of that, just a little bit to an unquantifiable amount. KSI, with multi-city block level scaling, would be able to defeat characters such as non-prep type Batman, Captain America, Spider-Man, and Tanjiro Kamado. Some debatable matchups you could have for KSI around this level of power would be characters like Sub-Zero, Master Chief, Homelander, and Jotaro Kujo. If you take planet level scaling, then KSI would easily be able to defeat Demon King Piccolo and Dragon Ball era Goku, basically meaning that he could basically just replace Raditz in the Raditz fight and do just as, if not a better job than him. He'd also be able to defeat characters such as Luffy, Gon, Deku, Charizard, and characters like that. And also all of the other characters we previously mentioned were debatable matchups, he would also destroy them. Some debatable matchups for planetary KSI would be characters like Sasuke, Omni-Man, Shao Kahn, and Ridley. And if you take large star level KSI, he's easily able to defeat Namek Saga Frieza and Super Saiyan Goku when he becomes a Super Saiyan for the first time. Interestingly, he'd be able to do really well against Super Perfect Cell, since he would have more power than Super Perfect Cell. However, Super Perfect Cell has higher speed feats, so that could be a quite debatable matchup you have there. KSI would also be able to defeat characters like Saitama and Naruto and Natsu with, you know, this level of power. And if you take him at Universal, then he's capable of matching characters like God of Destruction Toppo, Kefla, and Ultra Instinct Gohan Goku, since they could perform feats on the same level, and is easily able to destroy every other character I've previously said, along with characters like Iron Man, Link, Samus, and Mega Man, characters like that. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe. The abilities that I remembered from other videos for KSI were like the instant transmission and the Infinity Gauntlet. The Infinity Gauntlet in the MCU is capable of tearing the universe to its like last atom, which, I mean, if you have KSI Universal already, this isn't even that much of an increase in power. However, if you use the comics interpretation of the Infinity Gauntlet, then KSI would be able to destroy outerversal beings and beyond, so he'd be pretty broken. And I will see you in the next video. If you want to see more like power scaling joke characters, then let me know, and I'll see you in a bit.